Hello again. You've clapped and stamped your feet long enough. Yes, we're back for the encores.
One of the things I think that that the music has lost is a kind of sense of novelty, because I was driving up to you this morning and heard Roxy Music, Virginia Plain.
Yes.
And I thought, when that came out, that was so novel and different, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so many acts when we were young seemed to be so different. And music just seems to have got so homogenous.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely.
And formulaic. And you know, and a lot of music, I don't think it's only me. I mean, a lot of music I like now sounds like music I used to like in the past. So when I was watching Glastonbury last year, there was this band called the Teskey Brothers, who Emily and Alex said they're going to go and see next year. And they sound like an amazingly good Motown band.
Okay, yeah.
And I would quite like to go and see them. But that's am I liking them purely because they remind me of Motown? You know, I mean, are the current crop of, you know, artists just really, really dull and not producing anything different? You know, what is new and different and vibrant in music?
I think the problem is that you've got, you know, nowadays, in the past you had a band would come through and one of their members, if they were a decent band, one of their members would be a songwriter, or two of their members might be songwriters, and they would write songs that then, yes, someone might have got their hands on and arranged or suggested certain things to, but they'd written the song originally. Now, nowadays, a lot of the big acts, there's like a team of songwriters
teams,
who all put a line in each, and it's a formula it goes to. I think there's a Scandinavian group, aren't they?
Yes, that's
who
right.
write loads and loads of stuff, which are all big hits, and then it's all formulaically produced. So, you know, someone who's in bands these days will say, "Oh, we've written so many songs." Now, all that means is they've sat there and gone, na 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 na. And then someone's taken that and done something with that little melody, and then that person says, "Oh, I wrote that. I wrote that." Well, of course, they haven't written anything really. You know, and they've written 2 lines or something, and the rest of it's been finished off by someone else. So it doesn't take. It's all about image. It's all about production. It's all about what comes over the footlights, as we were saying before. Not about what's, you know. No,
I mean, of course, this is old Guy Moaning stuff, isn't it? Really,
it is,
But I think the other thing, of course, where we kind of benefited in a way was because in the 60s and 70s there were lots of new forms of instrumentation that were being brought in.
Yes.
So, for example, when you heard George Harrison experimenting with sitars, you know, that had never been heard in. There aren't many things now, and in fact, you could draw a relationship with food. You know, that in those days, you know, you could get Indian and Chinese and English food. Nowadays, you can get all the fusions of things.
Yes.
You know, and all of these things have come in the last 30 or 40 years. But you know, new instrumentation was being invented, like Moog synthesizers.
Yes.
But also influences from other sorts of music. I mean, we were listening earlier to Graceland.
Yes.
You know,
the African music. Yeah.
I mean, reggae. You know, and South American sounds. You know, Mexican mariachi stuff influencing American rock. And none of those things have been coming through in the 60s and 70s, which are just basically R&B, blues,
a bit of
folky, rock and roll,
which of course comes from blues originally,
and those influences, you know. So nowadays you kind of wonder what is there still left to discover and new and bring in that sounds amazingly different, you know. And they'll talk about a band, you know, who sound incredibly different. I listen to them and I think, meh.
No, they're not that different. No. I mean, I think the point is, when you think about it, you know, our Western way of thinking, there are only so many notes that are available to play in certain formations. And I remember someone saying to me a long time ago that with Western notation, musical notation, and I think they said it was something like by the year 2016 or something like that, they said every combination that's tuneful to our ears will have been used. Yeah. And then all you're doing is then repeating but changing things slightly to make it sound slightly different. I mean, we as from Western civilization, there are certain Eastern civilizations that have different forms of music. You think of your throat singers and all that sort of business. Yeah. Now it's strange to our ears because it doesn't quite sound right to us. No. But that's the only way we're going to increase the breadth of it is by bringing things like that in and
very good
introducing it into our sort of music. Yeah. But it'll never be quite as exciting. I mean, if you think about it, if you go and see a Taylor Swift or a Kylie Minogue, you're seeing a huge production, massive production, which will be probably exactly the same, note perfect every time. Probably a lot to do with electronics these days. I'll tell you something else about that in a minute. But nowhere near as exciting as seeing 4 blokes come onto the stage, plug into some amplifiers, set up a drum kit, and just go for it, you know, and just be together and play some quite simple chord progressions, but excitement, real danger and excitement in what they're doing.
Yes.
Now, I heard recently of a very big heavy rock band, massively, hugely successful heavy rock band that are Midlands based, and someone went to with their own little band to rehearse in a studio, and they were told, or they said, oh, you know, you've only missed by a few hours this band, or they came in to rehearse because they were going on tour and they were going to play to thousands of people. They said, but the lead singer, and voices are what obviously suffers over the years, the lead singer was there with his computer and a particular program on it, singing certain lines and then getting to notes he couldn't hit, and using the computer to alter it so that when they perform live, that note will be hit spot on every time.
Yeah.
He won't be singing it.
No.
Because he can't sing it anymore.
Yeah.
It's the reason why Robert Plant wouldn't reform Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Jimmy Page could stand there and play those guitar solos.
Yeah.
No John Bonham, but someone could play the drum bits. John Paul Jones could play, but poor old Robert Plant, he can't get up there anymore. No. He can't scream those notes out.
You see, well, that's another interesting question. That brings us on to the thing of musicians carrying on too long. And no musician... I mean, I can only think of one band who have voluntarily retired, and that was R.E.M.
Yes, yeah.
And they decided to give up. I'm not quite sure why, but nearly everybody else goes on and on and on, don't they?
Yeah.
Until they either die... or people lose interest, you know. Yeah. And I can remember seeing, when I went to see the Paul Simon thing in Hyde Park, James Taylor, and his voice had gone. You know, he couldn't really...
You don't think that was a one-off? Because I've read reviews where they've said he's in fine voice still.
Okay, so well, maybe it was, because
was to be honest,
Bonnie Raitt played that, and apparently she'd been ill the year before, and she was... That's the worst I've ever seen her. I've seen her about three or four times. Yeah. So could be, but you know one's voice.
I know. I know from my own experience of singing in musicals and choirs that there are certain things I can't sing anymore. No, because your voice does change.
So, do you want an act who's up there, whose vocals are manipulated to sound like
Are you going to see or hear the person? If it's someone really big and famous, do you want to see them?
Yeah.
Just to say I've seen that person, or do you want to hear them?
Because that's the thing, you see, sportsmen have to retire because they get too old. Actors can go on really until they croak, can't they? But musicians, I mean, I don't know how Keith Richards still plays. If you look at his fingers, you know, they're virtually crippled, aren't they?
But if you learn about his tuning of his guitars, I mean, I read an article about it, and he has his guitars tuned in a certain way, and always has done, where there's an awful lot of one finger going across lots of strings to make it sound okay. Yeah. And that's great, good for him, you know, it means he can carry on doing it. But you know, how long are the Rolling Stones going to go on?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so you are seeing a kind of an artificial concept. Yeah, maybe because the sound is manipulated.
But do you want to? Are you going because you want to see that band that you've loved for so long, or to hear them at their best?
And of course, the other interesting thing is, that as we said, because of the difficulty getting tickets now, your children are also going. Yeah. Because this is the music they heard their parents playing when they grew up.
Yeah, yes.
And you're not going to see
it's not
Irish rebel songs, no. And I'm not going to see Lonnie Donegan tribute bands. But my children definitely go and see Bonnie Raitt and all the bands that we used to like.
Yeah. But I suppose the other thing, of course, as well, is those people are going to carry on going out there because record sales don't earn them any money anymore.
No.
Because of streaming services, unless you are at the very the top, unless you're the Ed Sheeran, unless you're the Taylor Swift, you don't earn a fortune from streaming.
No.
You earn, and people, I can't remember, someone was being interviewed and they said that, last year they had a cheque for like £1.20 or something from so many streams of their song, whereas in the past, if it had been on album and single sales, they'd have been in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
Yes.
And it's only the very top ones who earn lots of money. So therefore, they have to go out, tour endlessly, and charge a bloody fortune for their tickets. That's how they make their money. That's the only way they can do it these days.
So I suppose I would say to you now, Dave, we talked about the first thing. What was the last music you bought? Can you remember?
God, the last music I bought. Now, are we talking bought as a streaming thing, or as a physical thing?
That's legitimate. Yeah.
I think the last. This is strange, but I think the last physical, the last streamed music I paid for, as in buying to download and keep, would have been the complete Eagles LPs or albums. I bought that. I did the same with David Bowie, and I did the same with I can't remember, someone else as well. And at the time there was like an offer on, and it was something cheap for all their albums to stream, and they're on my phone, sort of thing. Physically, as a piece of vinyl, plastic to put on a turntable. The last one I bought, I can't think what it was. It's such a long time ago.
I can't think for me either.
Actually, unless we're talking about not newly released things, the last one I bought was in a vinyl specialist shop in Lichfield, and it was an album that we mentioned not very long ago called Bumpers.
Oh, really?
And I bought that for something like, I think it was about £15.
Was it?
Yeah. Wow. That's how much it is now.
I think it was 29 shillings.
Exactly. Exactly. So come on then. What was your last streamed that you bought, or physical piece of plastic?
To be honest, I think probably the last piece of plastic I physically bought would have been They used to do sort of collections of albums, rather like you're saying, and I think it may have been a Little Feat collection.
Okay. Good
of about 5 albums. I think it's a company called Rhino or something or other.
Yes, Rhino do releases of them, don't they? Yes,
I think it was Little Feat. Yeah. So that was kind of backtracking for those. But I do occasionally pay for a single download of a song that I like.
Okay.
I can't think what the last one would have been necessarily, but I might hear a song and like it and just download it to keep.
So did we ask the question well back in our conversation of what's the record you think you've played the most times?
No, we didn't. No.
What do you think is the I mean, it's probably got to be an album, I would have thought.
Yes.
The album that you've probably played the most times in your lifetime so far.
I would, yeah. I mean, that's I mean, probably, because the thing is that when you had albums when you were young, you just played them played and played. So it could well be the Yes album.
Yeah, that's been played a lot. Yeah,
but I haven't probably played it for some years.
No. I think, if I'm honest, and I have played it more recently, but in bits because of streaming. I've played bits of it.
Yes, I know.
But the one I played fully as an album, beginning to end, the most times would have been, and it would have been back in the sort of early '80s. But when I used to finish work on a Friday and come home when I was house sharing with Jan all those years ago, and we'd get in and we'd have a glass of wine, sit down, relax, probably have a cigarette at the time because that's when I was smoking. And I would put on Jackson Browne's Late for the Sky.
Yes, that's true. That's got to run very close.
And it was, you never played it a couple of tracks, you played side one followed by side two. It was the only way of doing it. And I think that the number of Fridays I came in, and it was such an end of the working week, a beginning of the weekend, a relaxation, and if I play it now, it takes me back.
And sitting down, duff track.
Sitting down, glass of wine, thinking the week's over.
That's nice.
This music is wonderful.
What a nice, nice thought.
Yeah.
And I probably, I mean, you know, then we would talk about Desert Island discs, you know, the one that you and
goodness me,
you know, I mean, I've obviously got a top 10 of songs, but I mean, I don't think it was a band that you at all like, but the Sundays.
Didn't really know them very well.
No, and the Sundays I love as a band. Only ever made 3 albums. Only ever had 1.5 hit singles.
Wow.
But I love their music, and I do occasionally still listen to their albums. And they are best played through, really.
Yeah. But that's the thing, isn't it? That this idea of playing through is so important. It's like
they were a 1980s band.
But it's like if you listen to there's certain Beatles album tracks that I play sometimes, and if I play it and it finishes, I will immediately in my head go into the next track starting.
Absolutely.
Because that's the order they were played in, and that was so important. I mean, particularly things like Revolver and things like Abbey Road and stuff like that. You know what comes next.
Have you had any albums that you loved that you actually really don't like now, that you've gone right off? Possibly because you listened to them too much.
I don't really think they are, because the fact that I listen to them a lot means I really like them. It's not something that occurs to me very often. I mean, I mentioned In the Land of Grey and Pink before. If you said to me what's an old album that you still play regularly to this day, that's one I often put on. If I'm on, when I say put on, it tends to be on the phone or something. But if I'm doing something in the kitchen and I haven't got a podcast to listen to, I will quite often play In the Land of Grey and Pink. It's such a I mean, it's terrible, but it's such a nice album to listen to. It's just got a real feel to it that's just it's not even a nostalgic thing. It's just a lovely lilting I mean, I'm saying I don't
really know.
I'm saying
you made me want to go and listen to it.
I'm saying I don't like jazz, but side 2 is called Nigel Plays a Tune, and in a way it's jazz. But it's nice to listen to. If you don't know it, John, I'm recommending it now. I love In the Land of Grey and Pink.
Favourite instruments to listen to? To
listen to?
I mean, are you a guitar man, a piano man?
Well, now you see.
I've never been a particular guitar solo guy.
I think probably piano, actually. I mean, I like keyboards to listen to.
I think keyboards for me
but
too.
I think piano particularly has got a... Piano can be quite romantic, it can be quite powerful. Keyboard, I mean, like an organ or even a synthesizer, is a bit... There's a lot of attack in it. Whereas piano can be so lilting, it can be so quiet if it's played really well, but it can also be so powerful if you've got someone who really knows what they're doing on it. You know,
I think I prefer acoustic guitar to electric.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree
and
with
I
that.
do quite like sort of slightly wacky, like flute. Because flute was a very 1970s instrument, wasn't it? You got a lot of flute in things then.
My son-in-law always says, "I'm sorry, Dave." He says, "There's no place for a flute in rock music."
No,
and I
no,
say, well,
he's
I'm
wrong.
sorry, he's wrong.
He's
Actually, on his runs a few times, he said, "Dave, I've listened to Aqualung, and it's all right."
Stackridge, heavily employed. A band called If used to use flute.
God, If, that takes me back.
Flute was a lovely instrument, but it's never played now, is it?
No,
I don't think. You know, it seemed to fit into 70s.
I think I do like. I mean, we talked about Fairport Convention. I think a good fiddle player. Is wonderful.
Yes,
absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. Never been a huge sort of brass fan, although it's very effective in something like Steely Dan when it comes to My Old School and things like that. But
I like them in Bellowhead. Bellowhead had a brass section.
So great vocals.
Oh,
who's up there?
You know my top vocalist of all time.
No, I don't.
No, Daryl Hall.
Okay,
Daryl Hall is to me is just the ultimate in white man singing soul.
But then Steve Winwood's got a
close second.
He got a running close. But he was more sort of soul shouty than Daryl Hall. Daryl Hall had the sweetness of the vocal, didn't he?
And Daryl Hall's top notes. He's older than us.
Yes.
Whether he can still hit them, I don't know. But he certainly is for me one of the great vocalists of all time.
I'm pretty much with you on that. Yeah.
But Stevie Winwood.
Yeah, and then you have distinctive vocalists. You know, I mean, ones who have vocals that wouldn't be considered to be particularly good. I mean, people like Tom Waits, don't they? Who kind of growls. Not particularly my flavour. But
Tom Waits is a bit like the Incredible String Band to me. Never really got into Tom Waits.
No.
A friend of mine recommended him. Said, "Oh, he's wonderful." Couldn't quite get it. Rod the Mod, good old Rod Stewart. Very, very distinctive vocal. Not a pure voice, but good on him. He can still do it.
Robert Plant was a pretty amazing vocalist, wasn't
he? Yeah,
in his type. You wouldn't necessarily choose one because they're all such different musical.
Very much so.
And female vocalists.
Oh, female vocal. Well, Sandy Denny.
Sandy Denny,
wonderful vocal sound.
Yeah, I would definitely go for Bonnie.
Bonnie Raitt, great, and
the most expressive voices.
Bonnie Raitt could sing and could play guitar, slide guitar like no other woman. Certainly, I mean, I hate to be sexist about it, but she was just fantastic.
Of course, great rock voices. We forgot about what's he called from Free?
Paul Rodgers.
I
Tremendous.
mean, one of the great rock voices, wasn't he?
Absolutely, such power. Freddie Mercury himself.
Good vocalist. I never really was a Queen fan particularly.
I liked his range.
Very expressive. And then if you went through the individual instruments, you could really get into too long, I think. Guitarists and things like that. But I mean, and an unusual voice like Richard Thompson's. Quite effective, but not really a great singer. But it was curiously
such a strange combination because a man with a sort of a southeastern voice when he talks, southeast London, and then sings in a Geordie style.
I know.
Richard Thompson, fantastic performer and guitarist. I mean, I've got a lot of time for Richard Thompson. Great songs. I mean, I know. He's a bit of an Adele in his way. He for his best songs he had to be breaking up and having divorces and things.
Definitely
fantastic songs. I mean Adele. I'm afraid as soon as I heard that she'd split up from her partner again, I thought,
here comes another album.
Here comes another sodding album.
I mean, John Hyatt, the American.
Don't know much about him.
No, but he said, I need a good divorce to give me another good album. He'd sang, and Joni Mitchell. I remember reading allegedly would dump a boyfriend so that she would get an emotive song out.
Just to get a good song.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite how true that is, but you never know. Yeah. So if there's one song that you can listen to, you know, that you're never going to hear another song. I ask you that question because I'm not sure how I would answer. But
no, I've got to think. I mean, there's a few. I mean, we started talking about Desert Island Disc, and we did like one bit, and then went off it, didn't we?
We
really?
did, yeah.
Yeah, because it's quite difficult to come up with a 7 or whatever. But now one song that I would listen to over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cool. I think. Blimey.
I think it could be a Jackson Browne one for me, actually.
Yeah. Yes. That's a definite possibility.
But I'm not quite sure which one.
Yeah.
The Late Show.
Late Show's good. Yeah. The Late Show is very good. I love Who Knows Where the Time Goes.
Yes. Yeah.
Wonderful song.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, even Meet on the Ledge, you know,
yes.
Richard Thompson worked when he was 17 or something, didn't he?
Yeah.
And you think, wow, you know, what a song to write at that time.
Yeah, I quite agree.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we may have to come back to a Songs for a Desert Island at some point.
We did it a few years ago on Facebook, didn't we? You gave your.
Did, yeah.
I remember you listing. I think what was Twist and Shout, was it, or something other, or I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Yeah.
And you said the sort of electric effect it had on you. That was your. And I actually went for a slightly different thing, where I chose an album through each of the decades. I chose one from the 60s, one from the 70s, 80s, 90s, zeros. Yeah. And Rob did it as well, didn't he?
I feel a number of other music podcasts coming in.
Quite possibly. We've covered quite a lot of ground on the other hand. Thanks for coming along with us on our musical odyssey.
We hope to be back with you again very soon.